Live. Hello.
Hello there.
Hello there.
Live, that's fancy.
Welcome to the Everest podcast. The first one we reviewed the episode 1 and 2, I think. Now we are going to review the season as a whole. As always, I'm going to get the thoughts on what people thought about it, and we'll start with Strike.
Right. So overall, the entire series.
Well, do we want to talk about the finale first, or just how you feel about the series in general?
Let's do an overall series, because this isn't a finale review; it's the entire series.
Right.
All right. We'll start with the whole series. Okay, what did you thought about the Bad Batch?
I really enjoyed it overall. Even some of the episodes that some considered filler. Most of them I enjoyed. The only episode that I kind of thought took momentum out of the whole story was 13 Infested.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the only one that I had kind of problems with, but overall I thought it was a really fun show and had a lot of little callbacks to things that we have heard in the expanded universe. I mean, not canon stuff anymore, but I mean, still really, really good stuff. So overall, I'm really happy. It had a lot of cool moments. With one of my favorites definitely being the episode with Gregor and Scorch. That was definitely one of my favorite episodes out of the whole series. Yeah, and overall, I really enjoyed it.
Very good.
Okay. Should I go next?
Yeah, it's your turn, River.
All right. So overall, I thought the season was like really, really good for a first season of a animated Star Wars show. Usually, first seasons are pretty piss poor. This is true for Clone Wars and for Rebels, and then the show picks up in the second season. But they started out strong this time. Coming right off of season 7, it seems like, this is a really good start. There, of course, just like the Clone Wars, there are filler episodes, but I think this was I'm going to compare it to the Clone War to the first season of the Clone Wars. It is way, way more of what I expect from Star Wars than and quality-wise than season 1 of Clone Wars was. So I'd say it was pretty adequate.
Yeah. One thing, if I may add on to that, one thing I'd say about a bit of comparing Clone Wars Season 1 to Bad Batch is that they're not really the same type of series. Clone Wars, in my book at least, kind of gets a bit more leeway when it comes to quote-unquote filler because it's an anthology series. And so no single season has an entire overarching plot. It's not all one cohesive story. So if something's filler, it's technically not. It's just really just another arc of the show. Meanwhile, with Bad Batch...
Yeah, but Rebels...
Yeah,
Rebels, it's probably better to compare it to Rebels in that.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah,
because I agree. Clone Wars definitely is not really comparable in that sense because it is more. It explores more of the entire universe and not like some like we do see a lot of arcs with, of course, Anakin and Obi-Wan. But overall, we do get like stories of really unrelated characters. So I think in Bad Batch, like the one or like the 2 episodes that felt more like Clone Wars were the ones on Ryloth, because we actually switched between certain points of view or different points of view, and not only the Bad Batch. But yeah, overall, I think we could.
And it was a story arc.
Yes. So overall,
it was a 2-episode story arc.
With comparing it more to Rebels. And in that sense, I do agree that Bad Batch definitely had a stronger start than the first season of Rebels.
Oh, certainly. In fact, one thing, if I may continue, one thing that I really liked about certain parts of this season is that it really served to bridge a bit of that gap between Rebels and Clone Wars. Now, being that they're nearly 20 years apart, obviously Rebels and Clone Wars feel rather disconnected, even with the amount of characters whose stories continue through the two shows. But the insight that Bad Batch has kind of given the fandom into the whole behavior of the galaxy in that, even at just the start of that transition period, it's really invaluable. Like, for example, I'm going to bring up a specific part of the Gregor episode in Bad Batch, the Phase 1 Stormtrooper armor, the stuff that was based off of Ralph McQuarrie's original concept art, like a lot of the Rebel stuff was. Personally, I really liked that sort of mix of clone and Stormtrooper armor. I thought it looked rather cool. But it really just kind of serves to enhance the cohesion between those two narrative lines, because that's kind of one of the great things about Star Wars is the entire thing is one cohesive story, and the more we go into the details through these small shows, the more we can see how every strand connects into the greater plot lines.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree too.
Mm-hmm.
Yay, I got a consensus.
All right, Cash, what are your thoughts on the Bad Batch?
There's things I liked. I didn't think I was gonna like Omega, and Omega grew on me, and Fennec and Cad Bane, seeing those two fight, and that was so awesome. And
that was great. Yeah.
You know, it's just there was definitely some filler there, like episode 13. My brother and I, when we watched that, we said it's Sid's wild adventure. You know, just bugs and other nonsense, and and I don't hate Sid. I just average. It was pretty good. Like the Camino thing, it was very interesting. Like we have somebody in our group who's just like, "Oh, Camino, I'm glad it's destroyed." Ha ha ha. I was like, "Well, that's and not everybody feels that way." I like Camino. I like Camino in Attack of the Clones. I like Camino in the Bad Batch. So overall, I would say it was pretty enjoyable. But episode 16 was just kind of like, I really wanted AZ to die. I don't know why, but I did. I just wanted a death, and I like episode 15 a lot better. So, but overall, I would say it was a good show, good first season.
All right, thank you for your thoughts on that. All right, Sonam, what are your thoughts on the Bad Butch?
So,
the Bad Butch.
Bad Butch.
The Bad Butch.
Gosh,
Bad Butch.
I knew this was coming.
Okay, before I get into those thoughts, because luckily enough, I actually, after I watched the finale yesterday morning, I actually wrote a bunch of them down.
Oh wow! Okay.
I wasn't even thinking about the podcast. I just wanted to write the shit down. Before I get into that, I wanted to point out something that personally I feel is quite sad and definitely tailored towards the more eagle-eyed Star Wars fans. Because I'm pretty sure we're all familiar with the first arc of season 3 of Clone Wars, the one where the 212th and 501st, under the command of Anakin and Obi-Wan, both retreat to Camino in order to defend it against an assault by Ventress and Grievous. In my opinion, probably one of the most rewatchable points in the Clone Wars.
Yes.
But more, what I'm getting to with that is I want to harken back to that because Anakin and Obi-Wan, their fleets with the 212th and 501st, they're part of the Open Circle fleet, which is typically something that's really confined to legends. It's not necessarily a very well-known thing. Essentially, the Open Circle fleet is that logo. It's the yellow circle with the two red semicircles inside of it. That's the two semicircles are supposed to symbolize Anakin and Obi-Wan as the two halves of the circle on the actual background there. But what was noticed, not by myself, I came across this video while I was just goofing around one morning. I was tired. I was just browsing. But what I found was someone who had pointed out that the clone gunner on the bridge of the Venator that was leading the attack on the bombardment, not really attack, on Camino. I guess at most it would be sort of like and whatever. They had the Open Circle logo on their shoulder, which means that the same fleet that had gone to Camino to defend it is the one that destroyed it.
No way.
Which is such a small detail that it has to only be there for those who could really know the background and then share it with fans, with other fans who wouldn't necessarily understand it on first watch. So that's not really linked to my whole thoughts on the Bad Batch, but
dude,
I
I'm
guess
rewatching that right now. I can't believe that.
Yeah, I'm gonna rewatch that later, man.
In a way, it just kind of shows like we talk about the quality of a show and how we enjoyed it a lot, but it really shows just how much effort the actual people behind it will.
Oh my god! I
it.
just rewatched it. He's right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my
So
god.
it just kind of showcases how much pure effort and care that even on the most minuscule level, the animators alone will put into these shows. And when you think about how Clone Wars was developed as part of Lucasfilm's foray into 3D animation, the part of the entire appeal of the show was them actually advancing their animation department. When you think about that through line, it's always the animators who are going through all of these shows and developing their animation software as they go along, and they are always the ones who are in charge of the smallest details, and they most definitely care about any project that they're working on, and that just, I feel, showcases that perfectly.
Yeah, Dave Filoni pays so much effort into these small details that just connect the galaxy even more. And dude, I legitimately didn't even notice. I mean, I just rewatched and it's actually the same insignia.
That is the point.
And
Dude, that makes this moment so much more heartbreaking.
Yeah,
it's really
especially.
great.
Yeah.
Can I stop you there? Hello, Solonic and Langs. What? Thank you for coming on. All right, you guys can continue.
Hello there.
Hello
Hey
there.
guys.
Greetings, exalted ones.
Dave Filoni knows his details. They take such great care.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not even the only detail that he put in the show, and it's just great.
Even when you think about it more, the Open Circle Fleet logo is something that was only explained in the visual dictionary for Star Wars Episode 3. So
yeah. Oh, that's crazy.
Okay, wait. Where's
So it's the shoulder patch of the clone
Open Circle
gunner.
logo?
It's in the Return to Camino episode, so the first part of the finale, and it's
finale
where
part 1 during the bombardment of Camino.
Right, where he orders the gunners to fire on Camino.
The clone gunner who tells the moth guy, who I forget the name of because I hate him.
Rampart.
That gun. Yes, thank you. Mr. Castle Fortification there. And everything. I'm not respecting him. Okay. I guess I should go on to my actual thoughts now.
Oh, he is.
You already blew my mind. You can go on.
Okay. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna start this. I'm gonna go into it. So first, I'm gonna start this off. My rating, number rating for the entire season, is about a 7 out of 10. So mostly just because reasons. I enjoyed it immensely, but that doesn't mean I don't also recognize the faults with it. It's the same approach I personally take with the sequels, in that I enjoy it by turning off my brain, but I will also criticize it because things be stupid sometimes. So yeah, I'm going to go into this. My only complaint about this first season was the amount of filler. It took time that could have been dedicated towards investigating the attitudes of the clones about the New Order. In the same way that the Ryloth episode did with Hauser and his squad, we never got to see them again, which means that that's a plotline that they're probably going to pick up with in the second season. I can't wait for them to do that. But with you could have taken out Infestation and given us more Clone Boy.
Infestation, oh yeah. More
the
Sid
entire
madness.
episode, I was
Oh,
expecting
bats.
Crosshair to bust in at any second because he was like doing that whole thing, permission to hunt them down.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't hate Sid, and I like that she was sarcastic about stuff, but it was like that
Goggles.
episode 13 was just. I want to
Something.
just forget about
I don't
it.
get why they didn't just make the Gregor arc two arc episode. Like have
Yeah.
more with
Nice.
Gregor after they get Gregor and
Yeah.
get rid of Infestation.
So I'm going to continue
Because
on here.
they just left them with
Yeah,
Sid.
sorry, we cut.
That's fine. I don't care. Okay, so through Hauser and Cut, especially in the first part of the season, we can see that the inhibitor chips may enhance a clone's desires to follow orders, but that it doesn't overwhelm them completely, with the exception of Order 66. We should have gotten more episodes where the Bad Batch's continued hijinks provide a light on discontent in the ranks. We did see some of that. For example, Gregor's episode. It wasn't filler. To define filler is content to fill time without advancing the story or the plot. Gregor's episode showed us the Empire's first forays into training stormtroopers, and also showed us what the clone commandos were being assigned to do at the time, i.e., being incredibly lazy and training people they don't like. Gregor's episode, Hunter's capture in it directly leads into the finale. More episodes like Gregor's that showcase this massive shift in the galaxy and the attitudes that would be affected by it would have been better than the spies. So the filler brings my rating to about a 7 out of 10. That's really where most of that went. But I still got a large amount of personal enjoyment out of the show. And the animation was fucking picturesque throughout.
Yep.
Like,
Every
especially
frame like a painting.
going back to the bombardment of Camino. Every single impact by a turbo laser had a flash of the Rhydonium effect. And that just made, like, every time if you froze the frame at the apex of the explosion, it is absolutely fucking beautiful. Plus the smoke drifting from the collapsing Tapoka City.
Yes.
Fucking painting. Get Van Gogh in here and have him do fucking something with that, because I want that on my goddamn wall. Thank you.
Yeah, same with that one scene of the Ryloth episode with the clouds.
Oh yeah,
I mean, that
was
just
cool.
simply looked photorealistic.
Absolutely.
And it was great also to see a young Hera. You know, I've always liked
that was
Hera.
just-
So
That was just
That
so
was-
fun, really.
That was
Yeah.
the best episode. Yeah.
Okay, I
All
like
right.
the characters. Sorry, I'm
Mhm.
not quite done. Sorry, Crit.
All right, continue.
you can.
I like the characters. Absolutely, they're all fantastic. The plot could have been better. Most plots could be better. That's just kind of how implementation works. And the action was pretty well paced throughout. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. But I would have liked to see a lot more clone dedicated episodes. If I'm going to do a bit of a what if here. If I were showrunner, I would have slated 4 episodes for each member of the Bad Batch to explore their individual characteristics in depth. It's honestly a bit of an anime type strategy, a bit of a trope there. To have the episodes where individual characters go out into whatever city they're staying in as a way to more completely flesh out side characters and secondary protagonists. Of course, Hunter and Omega tend to be the main focus of the show, but we get the rest of the Bad Batch who, while we do get a pretty good idea of their personalities, we don't actually spend that much time with. It would have been nice to see how they interact with people outside of their close-knit group, for one thing.
Yeah.
Because at this point, we really only understand the Batchers at their base characteristics and their roles in the five-man band trope, which almost exactly encompasses the setup of the Bad Batch in really either form. One thing I did encounter when I was sorting through my thoughts, especially on one of the Discord servers I'm on, around the finale. A lot of people found the finale underwhelming. In terms of action, sure, there wasn't that much of it, but I didn't feel disappointed by it in any sense. But one criticism that I did see of it was, why didn't the pipe that they went through between the private lab and just to make it Tapioca City, between the pad and Tapioca City, why didn't the pipe break? It was having so much weight put on it. Well, I mean, scientifically, if you wanted to defend that, you could source buoyancy, air pockets, and the density of transparent aluminum. But considering that we are watching a franchise with space wizards, 95% cyborgs, and starships that defy all laws of physics, I am unbothered by strong pipe.
Yeah, and I mean, the other one's broke. I mean, it was one, and I mean, you never know, like, for some random reason, some
Are
things
people
might
actually
not break.
upset about the pipe not
Yeah,
breaking?
I'm not gonna say people. I'm going to say
Huh.
person. There was only one person, or really two people. One who was upset about it, and the other who was a little confused about it. Who thought about it and were like criticizing it. I say that in kind of air quotes. They weren't really criticizing it. They were just basically questioning it. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure how widespread it is. If it is widespread after this podcast, I am sorry, but but yeah.
Yeah, I have heard about people being mad about that.
People were mad about the pipe, really.
Yeah, that seems.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're mad about the pipe, then
if you're mad about
sorry.
the pipe, I'd hate to. If you were mad about the pipe, I hope you never watch the opening scene of Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, that's a weird thing to be upset about.
Greetings, Real Talk and
Yep.
Real Talk. What's up, bro?
What's up, Real Talk? How you doing,
What's
man?
up, Real Talk?
Another thing I wanted to add is like just give me more episodes where just Hunter and Crosshair banter. That was really enjoyable to me. Anytime it's like go get it, guys, go get it. You know, just the things they say to each other, how Crosshair feels and how Hunter feels about the situation and how Crosshair feels betrayed, and it's crazy.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed that.
I did. Spoiler alert. I did kind of enjoy how Crosshair got his inhibitor chip removed. While that does put basically all of the blame for murdering civilians on him, it may do that, but
I don't think he removed the chip at that time.
Well, I hope not. It's a pretty easy cop out to say that he didn't. But either way, I do like that they showed that, because that kind of deepens the conflict between them, because that means he was hunting them down with lethal force for the majority of the season of his own volition. There was nothing forcing him to do that. He's just literally fighting for the thing that he feels gives him purpose. And that kind of just makes him feel like more of a complete character in the same way that the Batch fighting for their own freedom makes them complete characters. His Crosshair's freedom is more his decision to stay with an empire that doesn't necessarily care about him because he feels his purpose is there.
Yep.
I'm
Good
still
soldiers.
not-
Interesting thing.
Good soldiers follow orders, right?
Yes,
Good
but that's an
soldiers
important
follow
point. I'm still not sure if he actually removed the chip. So, because hear me out. Since they intensify the function of the chip in his head, and since like he got burned and stuff, I'm kind of thinking, what if the chip is kind of like more or less like binding together with his actual memory and stuff. So he kind of thinks that what he thinks to be the right thing to do is what he's actually thinking, but it's actually the chip still being in him. Because we do see the burn mark on his head, but I didn't see an actual like extra cut in at that point.
If it is there, I'm sure that there will be a freeze frame video of it out within the next few days.
Probably, yeah.
But I don't think. I'm just gonna say I don't think it would have fused with him, especially with the engine. Mostly because if the brain matter had been fused together, I think he'd be having bigger problems at the moment.
Probably.
The guy's headache, so.
And he did say good soldiers follow orders, which he normally doesn't say. I don't know. I mean, it's just a possibility. I could also see him just being an asshole.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, no doubt about that.
Oh, I don't think that was ever really in question.
Yeah, definitely.
Crosshair. Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys have been anticipating what my thoughts are.
Oh, of
No,
course.
actually not. No, go on.
I haven't actually heard it yet, so I'm curious.
Yes.
All right. So I think that after last night's finale, I felt underwhelmed, and I thought about the show a little bit more. I love the details. I love the Empire transitioning. I love Omega, but I feel this show has been lackluster than what they could have really done. Because I think the main reason why is they had a story, but the story is sort of bogged down by the filler episodes, which kind of just take its track off. Like, this could have been cut down, I think, to 9 episodes, but they did 16. Or did they do 16, or was it?
Yes, 16. I mean, that's the Disney part, the corporation part. They want you to keep subscribed for the longest amount of time as they possibly can. I mean, that's not a creative decision.
Remember that this the Bad Batch finale overlapped just barely with the premiere of Marvel's What If.
Yeah.
So by ensuring that they are extending the time, you have maybe 4 weeks where you wouldn't lose a subscriber base for a month.
We will, for our viewers, we will do a What If recap in the coming weeks, where we just give us a couple of more episodes and then we'll talk. But back on to subject. The Bad Batch, I think, lost. It started super strong and sort of ended meh. And I feel like they should have not had done that. And I also feel like there was no real development other than Omega and Hunter and Crosshair. I don't feel like the Bad Batch's characters themselves have evolved from this whole storyline with Crosshair and the Empire. Besides, in fact, I would even go to say Echo has been. His status of the show is now a background character for the Bad Batch. He's just there. The only real time Echo had a role in the show was, I think, during the first episode and when they go rescue Gregor. But other than that, he didn't. The whole Rex thing, like, I don't even think he interacted with Rex on the old days. And the fact that Camino is very close to Echo as a character, and the fact that they didn't bother to do much about how Echo reacting to this whole thing with Camino being destroyed is just a lost opportunity. It's just lost opportunity, and it's sad to see that a show that these characters are one notes, they're one dimensional. Like, oh, he's the smart one, he's the strong one. The fact that they're not doing that to change that, but they're focusing on one exclusively on a few members of the Bad Batch. Like Sonam said, they could have focused on each character. That would have made the show, I think, much more interesting. But the Sid character, I think, bogged down this show. I think it would have been easily a 9 out of 10 if Sid was. I've cracked jokes. Everyone knows, like, I got another job for you. Like, we always rolled our eyes. Admit it. You rolled your eyes when she said that after the first few times. And it's a common, and it became a common trope that Omega was the one, like, oh, you don't have to do this. She's the voice of reason for everything. I think that was fine the first few times, but it became a running thing. At the end of the episode, Omega would convince someone because she's sweet and nice. Come on. There were.
Sorry. It's just I really understand what you're getting at, because it kind of ties into what I said earlier about the 5-man band trope. Because here I have the 5-man band trope open in front of me. I'm going to read this to you. I'm going to read you just the titles of each trope in this 5-man band, and you tell me if this sounds familiar. Big guy, smart guy, leader, lancer, chick. Does that sound familiar?
Echo's the Lancer.
Echo's the Lancer. Omega, the chick, or as it's more commonly referred to as the Heart. Leader, Hunter. Smart guy, Tech. Big guy, Wrecker. They are, honestly, in my opinion, narratively, they are putting an over-reliance on the 5-man band trope, which may be good in Robin Hood, but in a show that goes this in-depth with really anything, you can't stick to it like that. Like I said, we would have really benefited from those character-driven episodes for each member of the batch, and also with, I suppose, if I must say it, better character writing, just in the way that their interactions were. Because, like you said, there seemed to be a lot of stuff that was left out, in a way.
I will disagree on just some part. I do agree that they did Echo quite dirty, especially because, like, I don't know, like, as a huge Clone Wars fan, I mean, Domino Squad is just where my heart is at.
You're the Clone Boys.
So, the Clone Boys. Indeed. But I think especially like for Tech, I thought that he evolved quite a bit, actually, because at the start he was just the out of the book, doing everything in the correct way soldier type of guy. Like, everything had to be the exact way like the rules are. But like, especially like in the episode where Hunter falls down and gets left behind, Tech is like, no, I'm not going to follow that order. We're going to go back. And then when Hunter says it again, like, no, you leave me. Like, you can't do anything. Like, he leaves. But like that emotional side of Tech was something that we haven't really seen before. And also, I think with his like mad flying skills, those were definitely also like an aspect that we didn't really connect. I don't think any one of us ever connected badass with tech, but his flying is pretty on point. With drifting and everything. But yeah, I do agree that they did Echo quite dirty. I have a feeling it's going to change in season 2, because I think Echo is going to go through quite a few changes actually, because we do have the Lego figure of him and the action figure. I don't remember what brand of action figure, but he actually has a lot of attachments for his arm, and especially like an actual robotic hand. So I believe that Echo is going to become more present and in front of the picture character.
Yeah.
At least I hope so.
Well, I would say that basing that off of like, was this Lego?
Lego and an action figure.
Okay.
Probably Hasbro then.
Yeah.
So here's the thing: when they design those toys, they are given concept art early, usually early into production. So maybe at the time, Echo had different attachments, or there was going to be some sort of thing, and that got cut. But usually, if there are things, it's either one of two things. Either it was in concept art that they based it off of, that they based the figure off of, or it was Hasbro does this a lot. In order to have more playability and more like collectability, there's like different functions with it adds more functions to
Possibly.
a character, more value.
Possibly and probably definitely, but
But I
still
agree. I think
see
Echo,
an open door to him like having more stuff for his arm in season 2.
I hope Echo. I hope Echo gets some sort of dedicated episode, whether it be a 2-episode arc like they did with Ryloth, or
I want Echo
would be
and Rex
nice.
to talk about Fives. That's something that I really always wanted to see, because Fives was the closest brother Echo ever had, besides Rex, and I mean Heavy and all the other boys from Domino Squad. But like him and Fives went through everything. So I like, especially after Order 66 and like Rex knowing about it, I just wanted to see Echo's emotional reaction to just see what his brother did. I think that would be quite a beautiful moment for Echo's character.
Hello, Matt. How are you doing? Welcome to the podcast.
If I may interject for a moment, Strike, when you were talking about Tech's character arc, it sounds like they just took Echo's development in the Domino Squad episode and stretched it over a season. Because that's the exact same development that Echo goes through in Clone Wars, going from the by the book, always follow orders clone reg to the will sometimes disobey orders and think outside the box now.
Yeah. To an extent, yes.
Maybe that's why they're always together.
I mean, I don't know if Tech would like go and blow himself up just for the sake of the mission,
fair.
but I mean, yeah, to an extent, I'm sure. And I mean, I think that's like something that a lot of clones actually went through. I mean, especially under the command of like generals like Skywalker. I mean, basically all of his clones that served under him were more
Independent.
Yeah, independent and believed in themselves and questioned stuff if they thought it was wrong. So I think that's
point Krell.
Indeed.
Did
By the way,
anyone
one of
roll?
the best arcs ever.
Did anyone roll their eyes when the Martez sisters came back from Clone Wars?
Yes.
Yes.
I didn't. I have to admit, I didn't
Marches
mind them in
is
Clone
just,
Wars, and we got the "Is there an echo in here?" joke, and
That
I
was
will
such
always
a
be
good
grateful
joke,
for that.
honestly. That was so hilarious.
I have to defend the Martez arc, or the Martez episode, thankfully, not arc. It was definitely the best in the entire. It was probably the best out of all of Clone Wars and out of all of the Bad Batch. I think seeing the Martez sisters back in action just really made me just brought warm feelings to my heart, and just to know that they're still out there wreaking havoc, just
Losing spice.
losing
Dumping,
spice and
dumping spice.
and dumping spice. I just
And
really
be
hope.
like, this is definitely not going to screw our mission up. Let me press that.
Is R7 gonna like end up like being tossed from the ship too?
Oh my god. If they do something with R7, I am going to hunt the Martez sisters down.
There is someone that would agree with you, River. If you were he said you don't have to like the Martez sisters,
but you do have to respect them.
I will say, in Clone Wars, I really didn't like the Martez sisters. I thought in Bad Batch they were way more okay.
Dude.
Fleshed out or something.
It's the opposite
No,
for me.
not fleshed out. They were less annoying.
Okay. Less annoying.
They were a cameo. That's about it.
Yes,
I like
they
them.
were
I
not
like
part
them
of the
more
main
in Clone
story.
Wars than I did here.
No, Clone Wars, like especially. Wait, who's the Rafa? Is the older one?
Yes.
What was the name of the
Trace.
Trace? Trace is so annoying. Clone Wars. My God.
So I have trivia. So before the Bad Batch was announced, there was a leak that the Bad Batch would be the next show, but there was also another show they were considering making, which
Rebel
is why
sequel.
Dave. No, not just that. There was another show Disney wanted them. So the reason why the Martez sisters exist in the Bad Batch is because Disney wanted another show that could continue after Clone Wars that could focus on one or the other. And it was either going to be the Bad Batch or the Martez sisters, and they decided to go with the Bad Batch.
Yes, well, considering
Good choice.
people do not like the Martez sisters for the most part, even I rewatch the sequels sometimes. I don't rewatch
Damn,
the Martez
you
arc.
go through that thing.
Wow, that's
If I'm being
free will.
entirely honest, I have the ability to entirely turn off my brain and enjoy flashy lights like Monkey. So,
Yeah, the
I'm happy
Martez.
for you. I don't possess that power.
Yeah.
learn it from the Jedi.
Who fought? I thought Ahsoka was gonna appear
Ahsoka is
she
not
will.
going to be around.
She will. Just wait.
in season
Just
2.
wait for
Yeah.
it. Season 2,
Well, I
3,
mean-
4.
I have
In
to
the,
admit, I'm
in the
kind of-
Ahsoka novel, she's not around, and the Ahsoka novel is canon. So she's not going to be around.
And Sonam, what was
canon,
your
but
thoughts?
getting ever more iffy as time goes by.
Maybe the
Honestly, I'm kind of glad Ahsoka didn't show up. There was a lot of talk about people who were afraid that she'd turn into this sort of like a cameo in every series type of deal because of all
She'd
the
be the Nick
because
Fury of.
kinda, but like with the amount of stuff that she's already been in, and the fact that she's gonna basically have an entire live action show that she's gonna appear in quite a bit, and we've got her in we've got at least arcs that include her forecasted for several other animated shows that will be coming out. I mean, I'm kind of glad we didn't see her in the Bad Batch because, you know, the whole rule, too much of a good thing. As much as everyone wants to see more of her being a badass, you don't want it to become... I'm trying to think of a comparable character. I was just thinking Hondo Onaka, but he's wine. He gets better with age. I'm trying to think of a comparable character that would just show up in everything, and I can't think of it. So yeah, you get the idea though. You get what I'm going for. So, kinda, I suppose.
when he showed up in Rogue One.
Part of C-3PO's charm. Well, yeah, but both of them showed up in Rogue One.
Yeah, so Nick Theory, I'm just imagining Ahsoka. She goes to the Martez sisters in Omega. I'm here to talk to you about the Rebels initiative.
Oh my.
Oh boy.
Oh no, why'd you use that effect?
As I said, Ahsoka is not going to appear. Not even in season 2.
No. Oh, I think she will, but
No.
I think she will. I don't think they'll be able to resist.
I'm pretty sure Dave Filoni will resist.
Honestly, I'd give it a 50-50% chance because Dave knows what the fuck he's doing most of the time. But on the other hand, he also likes Ahsoka. So, I give it 50-50 on whether or not we see her in season 2. And how I feel about that depends on how they handle her when it comes around.
Yeah. I mean, going back to the Bad Batch and not going over what they can fuck up. I mean, I was totally blown away when in that one episode, I think is it 14? I think it's 14. Where like they talk about like numbers aren't everything. The door is open and we see Scorch. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Republic Commando and Delta Squad, so I was just freaking out. Yeah, and the way they portrayed him definitely did him justice. And also because they sprinkled so many hints to the Republic Commando game with sound effects and a visor shot and the Scorch himself, and now Republic Commandos, spoiler alert, in the last episode, and some with Imperial markings. I find it less unlikely that we're not going to see Delta Squad. I think we're going to see the whole squad.
That'll be interesting. I never played the Republic Commando games, and I appreciate that cameo.
You should. It's a good game.
I never did either.
Treason.
My first Star Wars game was Force Unleashed 2, which is kind of ironic. Now that I about it.
Never played that one. Played the first one, never the second one.
The Force Unleashed games are really good games.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I find it ironic because I sound a lot like Sam Witwer, but yeah.
Everyone's like, okay.
Sure.
No,
yes.
Well, flex.
What?
No offense, but I sound a lot like Sam Witwer.
You know,
I find it ironic.
like Sam Witwer.
What?
Took an interesting turn.
It's literally just why I find it ironic.
Ironic. It's like that song, isn't it?
You know, I do sound a lot like Palpatine.
Did you just do a Christian voice?
No, it's just a
Oh boy, they broke crit. That's it. It's over.
Christian do the Palpatine.
All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. See you on the next video.
End it. End it.
Okay. So, thank you for all tuning in. Our thoughts about the Bad Batch. We'll be doing What If next.
What if Christian was Palpatine?
No, we're not.
No.
Well, he did become the Senate, and now he's gone to prison. We're not talking about that. That's totally out the door. So,
Crit, if they found a way to kill Sid in episode 16 of this season, you would have been happier, right?
I would have clapped, yeah.
Hey, but Sid is boss grandma. How can you say something like that?
I got another job for you. I need you to clean the colonoscopy of my uncle.
Oh my gosh, here we go again.
I've destroyed the chat. The chat. Okay, well, Thank you for giving their thoughts. Great discussion. Thanks for the EBN crew for popping in for a minute and at Hangar Bay. Well, we'll tune in the next few weeks. I'm moving, so we'll be in the new. So it'll be new dawn, you know. All right.
See you the next time Barnes steals a Jeep.
May the force be with you.
Always.